do you deal with that, sir? Let me try to get it. Well, first, before I answer that, was there another question on the whole I.S.U.P. thing? Everybody gets the whole I.S.U.P. birthright done with that? Solid done. Was there someone else that had a hand up right here? Oh, I saw two hands. It was you. Good.
Just say how back to the marijuana issue. Now since it's being legal, now they're coming out with all these studies how it's actually harmful for you. All these type of diseases and the weed, the marijuana, how it's growing mold on when people are smoking it.
It's going to cause cancer. It's going to cause cancer. It's going to cause all kinds of respiratory cancers, and people are going to die from it. Just give them a couple of years. I think they're already dying of that vape thing. Y'all thought that vape.
So like, who's that?
Like that little candy air. I remember y'all would call me about that. I would get called, well, sir, what about the vape?
Careful not to lean on that wall.
Marijuana is in like a cup.
Just careful not to lean on that wall. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that? And he said, like, the guy brother told me it was like vapor. I said, well, if it's vapor, how you getting high? It can't just be water. It can't just be steam, right? Because otherwise, you wouldn't be calling me like an addict trying to see if you could get permission to smoke it. If it was just air, you wouldn't give a damn what the doctor said. Obviously, it's something in that vapor for fiends like you.
If you could, Bob, you just back to the remote right there.
Obviously, there's something in it that now is killing these little precious children. Like, they're dying over.
Okay, the water. All right, let me just hit the live on this joint, and then we get started. What's my price?
Yeah, I'm coming down tomorrow early and do the floors and shit.
Okay. This is. Pronto, the water.
Water.
Was that up?
I'm not saying I got some water. I just talking. Okay. Did they impeach that motherfucker today?
Shalakia. We live, so.
Oh.
So I'm doing. I have no idea what the following. All right, I just went live on the Facebook, so just make sure I'm good on that as well.
Okay.
So I can get right into this. It should pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Let me know what you see. I just heard something, so that sound about right.
I got greens up there, popped up.
No sweat. They live too, but you see, I see
Philly just popped up.
YouTube. See YouTube looking good. That's looking good to wild. Okay, I'm hopping on Facebook. All right, yes, that's going good too. Most high Christ.
I got you.
Okay. I'm just gonna share it real fast.
Let me turn it down.
So watch it for the delay. Shalom, sis. How is Shimon thought about Shimon Shah? Okay. Most high Christ. Check this down. Smooth. All right, clap it up. Saying I.S.U.P.K, Durham, North Carolina. You know what I mean? Wednesday night law class. Priest and Officer Babylon, holding it down for my brother who could not be here today. You understand? Officer Mahayal. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And like I said, today is the Wednesday night law class. As per usual, we're at I.S.U.P.K. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. You know what I'm saying? Under Commander General Yohanan. We are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite organization whatsoever. We teach the truth according to the Bible, that blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians are the true Jews. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians are the true Jews according to the Bible. You understand? And we teach, of course, the other truth is that the oppressor, the colonizer, the slave master is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? The man that's oppressing you, the one that, you know what I mean, that controls everything in this disgusting society. You know what I mean? The one that told you it was okay to break the laws of God and commit sin. You know what I mean? Those people, they're the devil that the Bible speaks of. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Now, today's a Wednesday night law class, so of course we're going to get into dealing with this, the law. Also, a very important class, you know what I mean? Because this class is essentially another lesson in fighting demons. You know what I'm saying? Because this world teaches you to be weak. This world teaches you to lay down your sword, you know what I'm saying, to rest on your laurels, as they say, and just, you know what I'm saying, just coast, just skate through. You know what I'm saying? And you are goodness. Yeah, to rest on your laurels and just skate through life. This world teaches you Salakia. Is that good night? What was that, sir? I don't know, Shannon. Salakia, sir, you hear me? Good night. Now, just making sure this is the test run, make sure the joint's working. You know what I'm saying? The water. Am I on the red channel? Is that what that is? I think we're supposed to be on one. We always on one. Yeah, that's the problem. Now, so like what I was saying was, yeah, so this society teaches you to do whatever the hell you want to do. That whatever makes you comfortable is how you're supposed to live. It's how you're supposed to, you know what I'm saying, conduct yourself. That there is no governing way of being. You know what I mean? There is no set, basically, structure that you're supposed to go by. It's happening even more and more nowadays, right? We see it right in front of us. You look on your television, you know what I'm saying? President of the United States, I believe, is the first president to officially, from the beginning of his term, accept, you know, basically gay marriage and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? This is something that has taken time to find itself in the political sphere, but now it's just accepted. It's just regular. You know what I mean? We see it all around us. We see what's going on. They're trying to teach you that you are a bad parent. Don't let your kids decide to get hormones at the age of 7. If your little son decides that really he's not, you know, he's not Johnny, he's, you know what I'm saying, Jane, then you're a bad parent if you say, no, you're a boy, boys act this way, boys wear this, they don't wear this, this is how it is, and this is how it's not supposed to be. You're a bad parent if you do that, right? Because, so like, let me get a scripture real fast, the one I'm kind of starting off with. Give me Job. Give me Job, is it 9:24?
The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. The person who runs this planet, or this society, the person who runs it, the person who controls it, the person who has what they call a sphere of influence that reaches further than any other race of people, period. They read on from the top.
verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
He's the wicked. The one who controls all of this is the wicked. You know what I mean? You say, well, why you, some people try to ask that question. How can you blame abortions on, you know what I'm saying, on somebody else? Well, somebody else, we didn't create Planned Parenthood. You know what I'm saying? We didn't create that. We didn't create, you know what I'm saying, all the different, you know, not discounts, but having all kind of health insurance that can help you get an abortion, that can make it cheaper for you to get an abortion. All the different tactics and things that they do to even push abortions on our people. You understand? Salakia. I got it. Salakia. Salakia, read it from the top.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Read on.
He covered the faces of the judges thereof.
He covered the faces of the judges thereof. And read on.
If not, where and who is he?
If not, where and who is he? If he's not the devil, right? If we just a bunch of racist, you know what I'm saying, crazy people, and he's not the devil, then who is? Who's poisoning the oceans? Who got the fish dying and floating to the top? Who got the bees disappearing? You know what I'm saying? Who got, I mean, living down south now, around where my house is, every time I drive, every morning, every day when I get home, I drive, do a lot of driving. When I'm driving down the highway, I see a new dead deer every day. Every day. It's just, I don't know if it's because I know they're chopping down trees, like I don't know what. Who's cutting down all the trees? They say something about global warming. Who's doing that? Is it black people? Is black people responsible for global warming? Are we responsible for the polar ice caps melting and all that? You understand? Are we responsible for the greenhouse effect and, you know what I mean? Are we responsible for all kinds of oil in the Gulf? You know what I mean? Are we responsible for that? You know? So the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. If not, who is he? You know what I mean? Just all you gotta do is see the influence. All you gotta see is who it is that everyone tries to emulate. Everyone tries to be like that. Everyone is not afraid of that one. Everyone is comfortable with that one. You know what I mean? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You know what I mean? It's upside down. Okay? And now, I bring all that out to say this, man. What this class is about, man. We're gonna talk about your goddamn filthy, disgusting excuses. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about the excuses that you have again because this is not your fault. You're in a society that teaches you to make excuses. You're in a society that teaches you to be weak. You're in a society that teaches you, ironic, this is the funny part about it. You get worked to death at your job, you know what I'm saying, at your slavery. But somehow, through a little thing called Christianity, you wake up every day trying to feel good. That's why you can't put that weed down. That's why the general brought out, it's effeminate, Ak. It's effeminate because you need it. You need it. You're weak to it. You understand? But you need it because you want to feel good, just to get by. You know what I mean? You need that crack cocaine. You need that alcohol, that extra shot of alcohol. I mean, you can't just sip on it. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta go to the ends of the earth and end up, you know what I'm saying, slumped over a toilet. You know what I'm saying? In the back of somebody's, you know what I'm saying, or you thrown up in somebody's grass. You know what I'm saying? You blacked out on somebody's couch. And this is what you do consistently. Because you're trying to, that's your way of feeling comfortable. That's you trying to ease through life. But the Most High commanded his people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, to live by a different code of honor. You understand? And our code, the code of a Hebrew Israelite, according to the Bible, is perfection. We strive for perfection. Nothing less, period. Period. There's no corners to it. You're going to be perfect. That's your job, to be perfect. You understand? And you might have not known that it was in the Bible, but we're going to break it down today. We're going to get into it and prove that it's in the Bible and that it's imperative. You know what I'm saying? It is not even, it's imperative doesn't even, almost doesn't seem right. You know what I'm saying? It's life or death. It's life or death. How perfect you are is the line between living and dying, according to the Most High. Okay? So all the excuses that you have for living the life the way you live, for committing sin, we're going to get that up out of there today. Okay? So, brother, if you could, can you give me Genesis chapter 17 and verse 1? Come on, I'm trying to stay with you on my phone. I mean, where's my... I ain't bringing it. No sweat. It's too hot. Actually, no. I need a physical one. Thought I had one. No sweat. Oh, just hold that 1 second, brother. I got it. Genesis 17:1, right? To Allah. Come on, go ahead and read that, brother.
The book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old, and now the Lord appeared to Abram.
Okay, so when Abram was 90 years old, was 99 years old, the Lord appeared unto him, read on,
and said unto him, I am the Almighty Power.
So he told him, I am the power. I am the source of all things. Okay, read on.
Walk before me, and be thou perfect.
Read it again.
I am the Almighty Power. Walk before me, and be thou perfect.
Okay, so right there. So Abraham was commanded. He wasn't asked. He didn't say, Salakia, Abraham, if you could please, Baba Bashar, please, could you just try to be the best you can be. Read it from I am the Almighty.
I am the Almighty Power. Walk before me and be thou perfect.
He said, walk before me and be perfect. Do it. Don't maybe try, kind of, do it. You understand? That's what the Most High told Abraham. That's what he told Abraham, our forefather, right? And there's more to it. Read on.
Verse 2. And I will make my covenant between me.
Wait a minute, Salakia. He said, be thou perfect. Read verse 2 from the top.
And I will make my covenant between me and thee.
He said, be thou perfect, and I'll make my covenant between, read it,
thee and me.
I'll make my covenant between thee and me, between you and me. But there was a stipulation. There was something Abraham had to do first. Could Abraham have just done what he wanted to do? Could he have, you know what I'm saying? Could he have said, Salakia, sir, that's all well and good, but I kind of still want to smoke some cigarettes. I don't see what's so wrong with it. I don't see what's so wrong with just smoking a bogey every now and then. You know what I mean? Read it from the top of verse 1.
And when Abram was 90 years old,
this is our history, our forefather, and this is what he was told to do, and this is how the covenant was established. So you better believe his children who were supposed to obtain that covenant, they was to inherit that covenant, they had to be held to the same standard. Read on.
And 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty Power. Walk before me and be thou perfect.
Read on.
My covenant between me and thee,
Read on.
And will multiply thee exceedingly.
Right. So he had to do something. Abraham was given, you could say he was given an order, but he was given a task. He was given a job to do. And let me tell you something about this truth, right? Understand that this is a job. Understand that what we do in here is the service of the Lord. We serve the Most High. We work for Him. We all do, in some way, shape, or form. He wants His nation to be a certain way, and in order for it to work, we have to work. You understand? Like a well-oiled machine. Salakia, hold that 1 second. Hold what you got. I want to get one more. Not one more, but to precept. Kind of go with that. I know it's the Romans. Come on. Give me Romans chapter 9 and verse 3. Right? The reason why I'm bringing this scripture out, right? Because this duty that we have only pertains to us. It only deals, like, the Most High is our Father. Literally. Right? He's our Father. We know that. We know that our name Israel, Yasha'Allah, means Prince of the Power.
That's right.
We are His children. Right? We are His direct line. He elected us. He adopted us. He chose us, right, to be that unto Him. And when you have a father, like my brothers always bring up the Tawab example. When you have a father, Salaki, when you have a father, he's going to raise his kids, right? He's going to be the one to discipline them and tell them how things are supposed to be done.
That's right.
And make sure that they lead their lives the way that he sees fit. So the Most High does that with us, right? So give me Romans 9 and 3.
The book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 3.
This duty is very important. This perfection is important. Okay, read on.
For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren's sake.
This is Paul
talking. I read that wrong.
Yeah, he's right.
For my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
Read from the top.
For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren.
You could take Christ's place. Read on.
My kinsmen, according to the flesh.
His race of people. Read on.
Verse 4. Who are Israelites.
No, they're Edomites.
Israelites.
No, they're Chinese.
Israelites.
Moab.
Israelites.
Ammon.
Israelites.
Amalek.
Israelites.
He said, I wish myself to be a curse from Christ for my brethren. You know what I'm saying? For my brethren, according to my kinsmen, according to the flesh, my family, my race, according to the flesh. Just in case you thought it was some mystical, somebody talking about you a spiritual Israelite. What the hell is that? What is a spirit? How can you be a spiritual black person? What's a spiritual black person? Justin Bieber? It's like what?
That white woman who pretended to be black.
Rachel Dolezal?
Yeah, she's a spiritual black woman.
She's a spiritual black woman, yet she had to actually go physically get braids. She had to physically get braids and a tan. Spiritual, yeah, you can't be no spiritual black person. You know what I'm saying? I guess some of y'all think Justin Timberlake is a spiritual black person because he can sing and dance. Good night. You know what I'm saying? Is Michael Jackson a spiritual white man? Because he got lighter than I don't know what by the end of his life? With the long silky hair? Was he a spiritual white man? You know what I mean? That is nonsense. That's garbage. It's not in the scripture. You can't be no spiritual. What the heck? That is folly. You cannot become a spiritual Israelite. You can be an Israelite who ain't spiritual. And you can be an Israelite who is spiritual. Right? You can be an Israelite who's carnal. And you can be an Israelite who's not carnal. But you have to be an Israelite first. Good night. I mean, is this kindergarten? Like, brother, what are we dealing with here? Read that.
Who are Israelites.
Who are Israelites. His kinsmen, Paul's kinsmen are Israelite. Paul was an Israelite. Read on.
To whom pertaineth the adoption.
To whom pertaineth. What does it mean to pertain?
That it belongs to or it's about.
Right, it belongs to. It is about. It is concerning. It's dealing with this thing. You understand? If I give you a call and you say, well, what's the call about? I say it's pertaining to your mortgage. Guess what I'm not calling to talk about? The goddamn Sunday football game. I'm not calling to talk about the Panthers. If I say it's pertaining to your mortgage, it means where's the money? You understand? I'm calling to talk about them taxes you owe. I'm calling to talk, it's pertaining to, you know what I'm saying, what we talked about the other day. So then it ain't pertaining to what I talked about with my mother. It's pertaining to what me and you talked about. Pertaining means it's related to that. Who are Israelites? Read on. To whom?
The adoption and the glory. And
Start from the verse says, to whom pertaineth?
To whom pertaineth the adoption.
To whom pertaineth the adoption? Because the Israelites were the ones who were adopted. We were the ones who the Most High chose. We're the ones that He decided, I'm gonna elect y'all, mine elect. Read on.
And the glory.
And the glory, right? Read on.
And the covenants.
And the covenants, both of them. The original one and the new one, right? Covenants. I'm not gonna have you spell it. It's not really a long word, but it has an S at the end. That means it's plural. The covenants, the agreements, the contracts. Okay? Read on.
And the giving of the law.
And the giving of the law. He gave us the law. Read on.
And the service of the Most High.
And the service of the Most High. He
And
gave
the
us the law. He gave us the law. So the adoption pertains to us. The glory pertains to us. The law pertains to us. So like the covenants pertain to us. The law pertains to us. And going along with that law, what's it say again? Right after the giving of the law?
And the service of the Most High
And
power.
the service of the Most High. We are the ones who do His work on earth. We're the ones who are supposed to keep this place in order. Okay, read on.
And the promises.
And the promises. Read on.
Verse 5. Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came.
Drop that. Jump back to Abraham. Right? And give me what the Most High told Abraham one more time. Before we go to the next scripture.
The book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 1. And when Abram was 99 years old and 9, and the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the almighty power.
Right.
Walk before me and be thou perfect.
He gave him an order. Walk before me and be perfect. Read on. Let's see what happens when Abraham did that. If he had not chosen, but if he had did the duty he was given. Read on.
Verse 2. And I will make my covenant between me and thee.
Which means what? What do we read? What does that prove? We already know it. I mean, but just break it down for someone who has no idea who Abraham is and what's talking about. What they just said prove? Yeah.
That to Abraham was the beginning of the covenant, and it was restated for Israel.
Right, but if we know that got the covenant, right? Because we just read a precept in Romans where Paul said that the Israelites, to whom pertaineth the covenants, to whom pertaineth the giving of the law, to whom pertaineth the service of God. So that means Abraham, according to the scripture, go ahead.
He followed the law.
Which was, in this scripture, was to do what?
Be thou perfect.
Most High in Christ. That's exactly what Abraham did. He was perfect before the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And give me Job 1:1. He wasn't the only one. There was many brothers who was perfect, man.
What is that 1:1?
Job 1:1 count. Many brothers who were perfect, right? And you can be perfect. Christ was perfect, but Christ wasn't the only one, and He wasn't the first one to be perfect. Somebody might tell you that, right? You ever heard that? Well, Christ, we can't. I ain't Christ. We ain't Jesus. He's different. He can be. Guess what? Christ was perfect. Read Job 1.
That's one of the main things that I heard from Christians all my life.
Right.
We're not Christ. We're not perfect. We all fall short.
Right.
I swear, I wish I had $1 for every time I heard that.
Yo, come to Most High Christ. You good?
The water.
Come.
The book of Job, chapter 1, verse 1.
This is like 2,000 years before Christ. It's a lot. Just hold what you got. So you just stop that. Is there somebody else coming in?
No.
Go ahead and read that out. You go ahead and read that from the top.
The book of Job, chapter 1,
Because everybody can't be, only Christ is perfect, right? Read that.
verse 1. There was a man in the land of U.
There was a what?
A man.
No, an angel.
A man.
Some kind of angelic being.
A man.
An alien.
A man.
There was a man, a person. He was a human being, a man. Go ahead.
In the land of Uz, whose name was Job.
There was a man named Job in the land of Uz. A man. Literally, right? Human being. Go ahead.
And that man was perfect.
And that man was what?
Perfect.
No, he was flawed.
Perfect.
That man was perfect. Perfect. He was perfect. Read on.
And upright.
Perfect and upright. What does that mean? What does it mean when it says he was perfect and upright? I know you know, young. So I want to see if anybody else can go. Since we are Job 1:1, in case you yeah, Job 1:1. Matter of fact, brother, read it from the top.
The book of Job, chapter 1, verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job.
Right? There's a man in the land of Uz named Job. Read on.
And that man was perfect.
That man was perfect.
And upright.
And upright. Read on.
And one that feared the Most High.
He did what?
Feared the Most High.
He feared the Most High.
And eschewed evil.
Okay, what does it mean to eschew?
To hate and avoid.
Okay, let's get the actual. That sounds too odd, but you know what I'm saying, let's get the definition. But I mean, that sounds. I'm pretty sure that is correct. I know eschew means to avoid, but it's like to avoid. Right, eschew, deliberately avoid using, abstaining from. So this brother avoided evil. He abstained from evil. That's what made him upright. You know what I'm saying? That's what made him upright. Salakia. Where am I? Job 1:1, right? Come. And we're the Most High. So what's the connection that made him perfect? How would we know? Yes.
He's following all statute commandments.
He did so did fearing God. Anybody got a precept for me? Anybody? No sweat. For time's sake, I'm gonna try to give you like. Matter of fact, I need to pin myself.
I got it.
What you got?
The book of 1 John, chapter 5, verse 3.
Read it.
For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. Pardon me, that part.
No, I mean, of course you're correct, but no, I'm that scripture doesn't show me how fearing God means keeping the commandments. Because a Christian will tell you they fear God. But they will tell you that they love God, right? They'll say, I love God. And that's when you pull 1 John and say, well, if you love God, keep the commandments. But they say, I fear the Most High. I fear God. But wait a minute, wasn't you just at the strip club last week? Didn't I just see you get a pack of Newports? Like, how would I prove to them that fearing God is keeping the commandments? That those things go hand in hand. I think I got like 3. I know 2 for sure. The third one I'm kind of floating in my head. For time's sake. Okay, so brother, if you can, Baba Bushah, get me Salakia. Yeah, I think it's in Ecclesiastes. Give me Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Who's speaking here? What book are we in? Ecclesiastes, right? So who's speaking here?
David.
Lie. If it's not David,
Solomon.
Solomon. Come. This is King Solomon speaking here, right? Because King Solomon was, he was a scholarly brother who loved to Shalom Akiyah Bashim Al-Shabbat. My man Sadak up in here. King Solomon loved, he was an inquisitive brother. He loved to investigate. You know what I'm saying? I'm like that too. You know what I'm saying? If I got the time, I'm gonna be on my phone on Wikipedia or something, reading about some ridiculous, nonsensical thing that got nothing to do with nothing. Sometimes just out of boredom, I just be liking to read stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that was King Solomon. Except for King Solomon, they got him in some trouble, man, because he actually, I'll read something about some fake religion, whatever, and just laugh at it. Oh, it's crazy. This brother, King Solomon, actually wanted to go and get into it and follow it, and maybe even, you know what I'm saying, to go to some of those seances and let's see what this is about. Let me dabble in this, let me dabble in that, because he had all those wives, right? We had 700 wives, 300 concubines. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he had this man had literally thousands of women, pretty much. You know what I mean? And because they were from all different parts of the world, all different races, he was dealing with a bunch of heathen women. And like the scripture says, when you deal with heathen women, what's he going to do? It's going to lead you away from the Most High. So that's what happened with King Solomon. But ultimately, King Solomon realized, wait a minute, it don't make no sense. Matter of fact, jump up to verse Salaki. I want you to go up a couple verses. Salaki. This goes right with being perfect. What is it? Ecclesiastes? What you holding up?
I'm holding Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13.
Okay. Start at verse 12.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 12. And further, by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no end.
He realized, he said, my son, be admonished. He's writing this to his kids to give them a blueprint, to let them know what to do and how to act, right? How to conduct themselves. And this is the end of it. This is the end of his lessons in Ecclesiastes. He said, be admonished. You know what I'm saying? Be made aware. Be warned. Right? Read on.
Many books. They're making many books. There is no end.
The making of many books, there is no end. You can make books all day long. You can read a bunch of books, man. There's so many books, man. There's so much knowledge out there, so much wisdom. Yeah, you got something up?
Yeah, it just reminded me, when I was in dealing with the conscious community, they always would come up with a new solution, like a new book with a solution for Black people.
Right.
And every time I would read this book, it was like a dead end.
Right. A million books, and then you got, what was it? Something to the Black Man.
Yeah, all of these different.
You know what I mean? You got Malachi York writing books, and this one writing books, and you got to read Malcolm X's book, and some African. My brother, who's that cat that my brother be reading? Some African cat. My brother swear your hand up. Some African cat. One of them old scholars. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the making of many books. You got something else?
It was this one brother, right? He wrote this book. It was it's supposed to be the blueprint for Black growth and survival. And at the end of it, he wound up talking about some black light that causes other light to reflect off it. I remember all this shit.
Good night. All of that to get to that conclusion. I read all of this for you to tell me about a light that reflects off.
It's all around us is this black light that causes the white light to be seen.
Good
He
night.
wound up talking about that, and I was like, what? But I'm just saying, that's how I understand what you're talking about. This is what makes me understand exactly what you're saying.
Salakia, Pashai, Ram, Yasha Allah, I'm not sure, I can't tell if you're a brother or a sister, but it's Shalom. Okay, it's not Shalom, it's Shalom. Okay, Shalom. Now, brother, if you could, Oh, go ahead and read that where you left off.
Much study is a weariness of the flesh.
Much study is a weariness of the flesh, man. He did all the research, and it was exhausting. It led nowhere. And he's gonna tell you what really matters right now. Read on.
Verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Let's get past all the nonsense. Let's get past all of the theories. Let's get past all of the goddamn debates about the Book of the Dead and the Meta and Osiris and this garbage. And let's get past all of that. Let's get past the big head I.S.U.P.K. You know what I'm saying, from Dr. Malachi. Let's get past all of that garbage. Let's hear the conclusion of it. Read on.
Fear God.
Fear God. Read on.
And keep his commandments.
Fear God and keep his commandments. So to fear God, read on.
Fear God and keep his commandments.
To fear God, you have to keep his commandments. Read on.
For this is the whole duty of man.
This is the whole duty of man. That's it. Your job is to keep the commandments and fear the Most High. They're the same thing. If you fear God, you'll keep his commandments. And you'll keep the commandments because you fear the Most High. We'll get another one. Give me Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13.
The book of Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil.
The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Right? So fearing the Lord equals hating evil. Just hold you up. I got it.
Sis, would you like some water?
Now, what you got?
On the top. The book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil.
The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Read on.
Pride and arrogancy and the evil way. And the froward mouth do I hate.
Salakia. Let me see what you got. Can I read from top?
The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, and the evil way, and the froward mouth do I hate.
Give me that's not even the one I wanted though. That's too wild. That works, but that's not really the one I want. Let me see. The first one is really but no, give me this one too. Give me Proverbs chapter 9 verse 10. That's
the book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 10. He that winketh.
That's not it.
Salakia. No, that's not it. I got it. It's right here.
Yeah.
So it's 9 and 10.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said 10 and 10. So
9 and 10.
That was my bad.
No, you too.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Right?
And the knowledge.
So fearing the Most High is how you have wisdom. Fearing the Most High is how, you know what I'm saying, you conduct yourself. And we read what Solomon said, fear God and keep his commandments. So keeping the commandments is fearing the Most High, right? So now, with that, drop that, give me Matthew 5 and 48, man. Because maybe it's just an Old Testament thing. You know, maybe being perfect is just something that these Old Testament, you know, these guys were really, they were just so, you know, they were so mean, and God was so mean, and he was just killing everybody. Floods, and you know what I mean? And cutting off people's heads if they committed sin. You You know what I mean?
In Matthew 5 and
Matthew
18.
5 and 48.
48.
Yeah, Matthew 5 and 48.
The book of Matthew.
So let's see if that's just an Old Testament thing, man. Read on.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 48. Be ye therefore perfect.
Wait a minute, hold up, Salakia. You reading in Matthew?
Come.
Is that written in red?
Come.
So that means what? If it's written in red, what that mean?
It's the words of Jesus.
It's the words of Christ. No, it's the words of Christ. Yahushua Mashiach. And Yahushua Mashiach, Christ, the man who you called Jesus, the one that you said you were married to. Good night. My mother. And it's funny because a sister hate, you know what I'm saying, hate the idea of a man having more than one wife, but yet every black woman is married to Jesus. He's one dude. So I guess they must be, if it's Jesus, it's okay. But because it's, you know what I'm saying, it's just
That they never seen.
yeah, the Jesus that you never seen, right? You can all be married to him. But you know what I'm saying, that nigga, you know what I mean, that you gave the box up to, you can't, he gotta stay with just you, right? He ain't worthy. You know what I mean? No sweat. Well, let's see what Jesus said. Read it from the top.
Be ye therefore perfect.
Christ said, be ye therefore perfect. He did not say, you know what I mean? It's all good. They say that Christ is like some, you know what I mean? Like some, like lily white, just happy-go-lucky, skipping through Bethlehem type dude. You know what I mean? That everyone is, no one's afraid of him. That's why, like you said, that's why every sister is like, oh, wow, that's my husband because he ain't there. They just look at him as just some happy pillar of goodness. You know what I mean? Not, but that nigga that you had a baby with, you know, he ain't this, he ain't that. You know what I mean? That man that you put on child support, you know what I mean? He ain't this and he ain't that. That man who you try to stop him from seeing his kids. You know what I'm saying? That brother that's always getting locked up. That brother on the block. That brother on the corner. Well, guess what? Christ was like that. He wasn't the cat with the suspenders and the glasses, you know what I'm saying, trying to take you out to dinner every night. You know what I mean? That wasn't Christ. Christ was the one who said, those who would not that I should rule over them, bring them before me and slay them. Christ said, when the brother didn't have his money, he said, you know what, I'm going to charge you based on what you say, because you knew I was an austere man. You knew I was hardcore. That's the kind of brother Christ was. And Christ gave his disciples, he gave us a commandment. He gave us a job to do. Read it from the top.
Be ye therefore perfect.
Be ye therefore perfect. Read on.
Even as your Father, which is in heaven, is perfect.
Wait a minute. Now, what's real crazy, like you said earlier, you said one of the main things you heard in the Christian church was, we can't be like Christ. We all live in sin, or what, how do you say it?
We all fall short.
We all fall short. We can't be Christ. We said we just can't be him. Well, good night. Not only did Christ, he didn't even say be perfect like me. Read it from the top.
Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father, which is in heaven, is perfect.
He said be perfect like God is perfect. Good night. So why the hell is your Christian mama got so many excuses, man? Why has she got so many excuses? You and coming to U.P.K. Now you know what I'm saying, you come into class and you cover your head. You done put down the cigarettes. You done put down the weed. You know what I'm saying? You done stop drinking like a goddamn fool. You know what I mean? You changed your life. And she got a problem with it. Oh, God. It's unlocked, all right? It's unlocked? God, yeah, I'm sorry. You could just go ahead and lock that.
Sure.
Go up. Yeah. So she got a problem with what you're doing, because what you're doing in here is a reflection of what she's not able to do, what she's not willing to do. She got a million excuses, a million. But to be the same person to say I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But when she say I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, what exactly is she talking about? What is the all things that they be talking about when they say that? Like, they always use that, but I don't know what are these things that they're referring to.
Say again. I
You ever heard them say, I can do all things? They quote the scripture. I forgot which one it is. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Yeah. You've heard that before.
Yeah, I know what that means.
Right. What does it mean?
It means I can do what the hell I want.
It most get that brother a hand. That's what it means. It means I can do whatever the hell I want, and no one's gonna tell me any different. You know what I'm saying? It means that, you know, if I'm gonna gossip, if I want to, I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? It means that if I want to go smoke a bogey, I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, and Christ knows my heart, and He strengthens me to go smoke more weed. He strengthens me to go drink more alcohol when I shouldn't be drinking. He strengthens me to go put that man on child support because we're unequally yoked. You understand? That's what to them that means. When in actuality, their task is not to just do what you want to do and that you're strengthened in that. No, Christ gave you a direct order to be perfect the way God is perfect. You understand? And if I may, it's like when I think about this school, right? And I think about what sets us apart. It's many things, right? It's the home of the truth. And it's apparent to me every time, every day. Every day I'm in here, and every day I see Commander Junior Honor, General Mahoney, General Haas, you know what I'm saying? General Q, you know what I'm saying? I.S.U.P.K. Like when I see all these brothers, Kathunga Ball, when I see these brothers, when I see the captains, Captain Mashak, Captain Nadak, Captain Zaga, Captain when I see all my brothers in here, and I see what they do, the work that they put in, I remember Salaki, if I may, I remember seeing Captain Tazariak on YouTube. That's it. And that's all I saw, right? And because there was that, like I'm not in the school, I'm just a guy watching some guy on YouTube do this. He was like, to me, looking at it, it was like damn, like I was looking at a celebrity. That's how I think at the time that's what I was looking at. Not saying he acted away. I'm saying like, damn, like, he was so magnetic. Like, and I saw, he would get all the views, man. Like he was the U.P.K cat that the whole conscious community we gotta talk to Tazariak, said this. And I'm just like, damn, like, yo, that's the man right there. And then I came up in here, right? And slowly but surely, you know what I mean? I'm a young man and become trooper. The brother works. Like every brother in here is doing what we just read in Romans, the service of God. This is not a brother who's like some kind of mystical being that's set up and like in behind the scenes, they put makeup on him so he look good on a YouTube camera so he can attract people. No, this is a brother who works, right? All of these brothers do the work of God. You understand? And the thing is like the brotherhood that Commander General Yohana had has trickled down. And that's why the other scripture says, you know what I'm saying, can a good tree bear forth evil fruit? You know what I'm saying? It can't. It can't happen.
We bear witness.
Right, we bear witness to that. The fact of the matter is, these brothers in here, their life mission, the sacrifice they put in, and believe it is a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. We all do it because we learned from the only man who was willing to do it first. That's Commander General Yohana. When I say that, when everybody else left, when everybody else wanted to start their own thing, when everybody else either got scared or they just dropped their sword for whatever reason, you know what I mean? There was turmoil going on. They didn't know what to do. Commander General Yohana, sacrifice. He slept on those floors in D.C. You know what I mean? He put it all on line. He sacrificed all his comfort, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that we're where we are now. And now look at us. 51st annual Lord's Passover in a goddamn arena. In an arena. You know what I'm saying? You see videos of the Passovers from, I wasn't there, but you see videos from the Passovers from 10 years ago or 8 years ago. And they were pretty decent sized venues, but they were, you know what I'm saying, relatively small. Each year the venue gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until now we are about to fill up a goddamn arena. And then one more thing before I get back on topic, Salakia. Not only that, this brother's so brotherly that when he went through everything he went through, sleeping on the floors, you know what I'm saying, getting in vans, driving back and forth from DC to Philly to New York, driving all across the country, man, setting up classes online and recruiting brothers and all of this. All the things he did. And you got fake Israelites out here benefiting from what he does. He just went over there and shut all that crap down about them so-called Israelites that shot up that store. General Yohana went on the TV and made all Israelites look good. He represented for all Israelites, even though all they do is talk evil on him. Right? And what did he do after that? He said the same thing he'd been saying. He's been saying all camps are commanded to come together. Now he's saying the 51st annual Lord's Passover, all Israelites need to be there. Yes, all of you. The purple cats, if you are an Israelite, if you know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know what the exact protocol is, or if they can rock the purple. I don't know about that. They might have to change, and they probably got to put on all black. You know what I mean? But come to the Passover. If you are in a fake Israelite group, and you're hearing this voice right now, or you hear all my brothers posting videos about it, you are invited to the Lord's 51st annual Passover. You understand? So, Barak Yahweh Hashem for that. You know what I mean? But Salakia, let me get back on my topic. Give me Matthew 5:48 one more time from the top.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 48.
Really off topic because that's perfection. That's part of being perfect. Because part of being perfect is sacrifice and not caring so much about your goddamn self. It's real easy to always be concerned about how you feel, how stressed you are, how tired you are, what you went through. You know how many sisters, man, how many brothers and sisters, right? And again, most of the time when you hear me going, some stories be mine, sometimes it's just stories I heard from other brothers above me, and I just think it's so wild, like it fits perfectly, right? I heard General behind me say that how many times he's heard someone say, well, you know, I'm like this, man. You know, I was molested when I was a little girl. You know, I was molested when I was a young man. You know, man, he used to be real rough on me, man. He used to beat on me, man. You know, my mother used to hit me with all. My mother would treat me this way in front of company. My grandmother would do this. She would throw things, and it's like every time they do that, that person thinks like that's them. Like they're the only person that has happened to, and because of that, people shouldn't expect them to be able to do certain things. It's their excuse for why they can't come to the Passover. Their excuse for why they can't come to camp. Their excuse for why they can't put on all black and get booted up. It's their excuse for why they can't come. Why sister can't come to school. It's their excuse for why they can't deal with that man because they know he has another career. They can't deal with that man because the I.S.U.P.K, them I.S.U.P.K niggas is just too scared. They want to go to the Salakia. They want to go to the other group where it's all nice. Come. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, yeah, they got an excuse, right? That's their reason why they can't get things done. That now, and the funny thing is how cyclical it is. It's a cycle. Your mother treated you like trash. So when I try to teach you how to be a good mother, instead of saying, yes, help me be a better mother, you say, well, the reason why I do such and such, so because your mother was a shitty mother, you want me to excuse you for being a shitty mother? How does that work? You understand? Oh, because you got mistreated by this person, or you went through this problem in your last relationship. And now, I don't do counseling. Again, I'm just saying brothers who do that, right? Those brothers have to deal with somebody saying, well, sis, your husband is saying that you don't do this and you don't do that. Well, he doesn't understand that, you know, my last boyfriend or my baby daddy, such and such, did this and that. And because of that, I don't trust. So wait. So because that man is you know what I'm saying, was what he was. The man you were with was what he was and mistreated you. Instead of you taking this opportunity and saying, oh, now I got to change. I want to be the best version of myself for my current man. You want to use what happened before as a means to validate mistreating someone else. You understand? That is called selfishness. That is the complete opposite of brotherhood. That is what destroys entire communities. That is what destroys Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We're so concerned every minute of every day with how we feel, with what's good to us, with what comforts us, that we'll forget about everyone around us. That we'll feel solace, or we'll feel, you know, again, validated in being Salakia, for lack of a better word, a bitch. A sister will feel validated in being a bitch. And you see it on Facebook. You see it all on social media. They'll be like, well, you know, I'm just mean. I'm a Pisces. I mean, I just threw one out there. I don't know nothing about that stuff. But I'm saying, like, they're proud to be, like, people that no one likes. Yeah.
Even to the point where, they, call each other's bitches.
Right.
Like a friendly way. Like,
Right. Absolutely.
I say, that's my nigga. She'll say, that's my bitch.
Right. That's what they do, right? You know what I'm saying? But the Bible says a shameless woman shall be counted as a what? As a dog. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, words is words. It's not saying like, oh, the B word is just some horrible thing, and that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that we make excuses even in the face of being, for the sake of being a good person. The general brought that out too. No, I think it was Captain Zarek brought that out. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not, it was general behind me. Like, how hard is it just to be nice to each other? Like, one big problem in the Black community, Black, Hispanic, and Indigenous communities, we can't just be nice to each other. You know what I'm saying? We can't just be kind. Like, that's too hard. You understand? Well, guess what? The Lord needed that we be nice to each other, that we be kind to each other. Matter of fact, let me get it real fast. You know what I'm saying? All of this goes in with being perfect. You know what I mean? What was you holding up?
It was Matthew 5:48.
Just read it from top real fast and then jump to Romans 12 and 10.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 48. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father, which is in heaven, is perfect.
Sure. That's the end of verse 48.
Come on.
Give me Romans chapter 12 and verse 10. Be ye perfect, man. The scriptures told you to be perfect, and you can't even be kind to your brother. You can't even be nice to a sister. You can't even have decency. You know what I'm saying? Tell me when you got it. Huh?
That's 12 and 8.
No, 12 and 10. Romans
got it.
12 and verse 10. Go ahead and read that.
The book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 10. Be kindly affectioned one to another.
Be kindly affectioned one to another. It's a job, man. It's a duty to be kindly affectioned. Yeah, because sometimes, again, when you make it all about yourself, you're always going to wonder, well, what's in it for me? Well, what I'm saying, how's this going to work for me? Am I going to be comfortable when it's all said and done? You know what I mean? But guess what? That's not how nations are built. That's how nations fall. That's how our nation fell. Because one thing that we couldn't do was this. Read from the top.
Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love.
We can't even be kindly affectioned one to another. We can't see a brother, a fellow Black man, and not grill him to death. You understand? And that's why fake Israelite groups don't prosper, as we saw. That's why fake Israelite groups get raided by police. That's why they end up shooting trans in the face. That's why they got murder cases and things like that in their congregation. Because they're not built on brotherhood. They're not built on sacrifice. They're built on, well, I know what this really means. And therefore I must break off and do my own thing. That's what they're built on. They're not built on being kindly affectionate one to another. Read on.
With brotherly love, in honor, preferring one another.
Preferring one. We can't even prefer each other. We get money and want to move straight up to Beverly Hills. You know what I'm saying? We want to move to the Upper West Side. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to be on what street in Harlem?
27.
Yeah, 27. We don't want to be on 27 no more. You know what I'm saying? Well, now, obviously Harlem is different. But I'm saying, like, first thing we want to do is get up out of our community and go to Wake Forest. You know what I'm saying? And go to, you know what I'm saying, some rich part of whatever borough or whatever city you live in. You know what I mean? That's the first thing we want to do because we don't prefer each other. We don't enjoy being around each other. You know what I mean? We don't say to ourselves, I got to make sure I live around Black people. We say to ourselves, I can't live around too many niggas. You know what I'm saying? We don't prefer one another. But a Black man doesn't prefer a Hispanic brother. Not realizing that you're the exact same people. Go to a Spanish brother's house. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't done it, Go to a Hispanic brother's house, and you will see a picture of his grandfather, and it will look exactly like your grandfather. He's gonna look, his grandfather, right, looks exactly like yours. You know what I'm saying? He's about as black as me, you know what I'm saying? His hair might be a little bit different, but he's a black man. You know what I mean? And we can't be kindly affectionate to them. We look at them with disdain. Like they not, you got some fake Israelites talking about they not Israel. Talking about black Hispanics on Israel, right? Good night. Then you got fake Israelites saying Old Testament only. You know what I mean? Well, of course you're going to say Old Testament only because you hate your people and because you don't want to follow Christ because Christ is going to make you do a commanded during holiday. Christ is going to make you sacrifice your happiness and your comfort for someone else. Christ is going to make you do what he just said in Matthew 5:48. Christ is going to command that you be perfect. And you don't want to be perfect. You want to do what you want to do. You understand? Salaki. So drop that. Give me 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9. All right? We talk about that service of God, man. I want to get one more fear of God too. Salaki. Let me know when you got it, brother.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who has called you out of the darkness.
Have what?
Who has called you out of the darkness.
He has called us what?
Out of the darkness.
He called us out of the darkness. Mr. Locke, read it from the top, man. It's so wild. Read it from the top.
But ye are a chosen.
First things first, you are a chosen people. This is so important for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to understand. Because again, the number one thing, but not the number one thing, but one of the reasons why what we're saying is so shocking to you is because you have such horrible self-esteem through slavery. You understand? You have such horrible self-esteem through all the atrocities that have been committed against you that it doesn't even register in your mind that this could be about you. Read from the top.
But ye are a chosen generation.
But ye are a chosen generation. Read on.
A royal priesthood.
You are, like, doesn't it sound like, imagine you don't have to tell this to an oppressor in America. You don't have to tell this to a colonizer here. You don't have to tell this to a slave master. You don't have to go to Donald Trump and tell him he's chosen. He already knows it. You don't have to tell him you're royalty. He already knows it. He would look at you like, so I know that. You can go to just some random, you know what I'm saying, oppressor's house, a middle class oppressor's house, and say these things about them. They wouldn't be shocked. You're royal. Oh yeah, that makes sense. My great grandfather actually was the son of a duke, the Archduke Bishop of the Dutch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they know that about themselves. Now, the difference is their royalty and everything doesn't come from the Most High. They're not. This is not about them. The point I'm trying to make is the fact that this is telling somebody you're royal, you're chosen, you're special. Doesn't it sound like it's talking to a bunch of people who think they're nothing but niggers and spits and wetbacks and they're good for nothing but smoking crack and selling drugs and being prostitutes and being pimps? They think that's all they can do. That smoking weed is the greatest thing they'll ever achieve. Black people make careers out of telling other black people that there's nothing better in the world than getting high. Snoop Dogg has made an entire career since 1993 off of telling black people and Hispanics to smoke as much weed as you can and always be high. That would not work with anybody else. It wouldn't work. Because you got to go to somebody who's hopeless. You got to tell that to somebody who needs someone to give them a boost, right? Tell me what to do so I can get through my day. Tell me what to do so I can forget about the molestation, the rape, the robbery, all the atrocities that happened in my life, the projects, all the fights, all the things that I've seen. My uncle got shot in front of me. My daddy's dead. I never met him. Like, my mama gave birth to me in jail. Somebody give me something so I can forget about that. Give me music that tells me to get high so I can get high while I listen to the music and zone out and pretend I'm not even alive. You understand? That's what you do for people who are hopeless. And when people don't know about themselves or who they are or their value, that's what they want. They want get high music. They want drink lean music. They want have sex with as many women as you can and don't claim any music. They want have sex with as many men as you can and don't claim any music. You know what I'm saying? They want Cardi B. They want Nicki. They want Megan. They want that thing that tells them, that teaches them to detach themselves from reality. Like, nothing matters. Think about how much black music is literally saying, like, yo, just like, life sucks, so just get out. And just try to get as much money as you can. That's nothing. Get to the bag, right? Get as much money as you can. Forget everybody. Just get rich if you can. Destroy people if you have to. You understand?
Yeah, that'll ease your pain.
Right, that'll ease your pain while someone else is dying. You understand? That's what they're for. But again, that works on people who are hopeless. And this scripture is talking to those people. It's talking to those niggas and spicks and wetbacks. It's talking to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It's talking to people who have lost all hope, who have nothing, who can't even fathom this. Read it from the top. It's almost like you're talking to a child. You know how you talk to a child sometimes when a child comes to you crying or something because somebody bullied them or somebody said something about them that they didn't like, or they just feel away and they're just having a horrible day and you say, no, you're strong. You're great. You're beautiful. Or a little girl, man, a little girl who's the dark-skinned girl in the school. And everyone talks about her a certain way. Or she don't feel beautiful like light-skinned girls again. We're not getting into light-skin versus dark-skin, but I know a lot of sisters who have gone through that. You know what I'm saying? My sister's dark-skinned and tall, right? My sister's tall and dark-skinned. All her life, she was the tallest in her class. The darkest in her class has always had that on her shoulders. All the boys always like the girls who are lighter skinned, and, you know what I'm saying, short girls and things like that. So she had to learn that she was beautiful. And once she did, then everyone said, oh, you should be a model. That's something she had to learn. So that's what we're reading right now. We're reading the Most High. We're reading the prophets talking to the children of Israel. That's why the scripture refers to us as that all the time. My little children. Israel is like a child. Like, I got to talk to them and tell them how amazing they are. Salaki, I'm not rambling, but read it. It's just, when I think about it, it's crazy. Read that.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation.
But ye are a chosen generation. You know?
A royal priesthood.
Royal priesthood. Go ahead.
And holy nation.
You're a holy nation. You're separate from everybody else. You know?
A peculiar people.
A peculiar people. You are so unique.
That ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness.
You should show, you're all of these great things, so you should show forth the praises of him that called you out. You know?
Called you out of darkness, Lakia, into his marvelous light.
He called you, because you're all those things, you got to praise the Most High. Because he called you out of darkness. He called you out of Cornwall's projects. He called you out of Queensbridge. He called you out of Wagner. He called you out of the projects in Florida. He called you out of the projects in LA, Chicago. He called you out of the ghettos. He called you out of the barrio. He called you out of the reservation. He called you out of prostitution. He called you out of pimping. He called you out of drug dealing. You understand? That's a dark way of living. Ask anybody who's ever sold drugs in any serious capacity. Ask anybody who was in the streets. Yeah, they'll tell you about some flashy cars, flashy clothes. They'll tell you about how they had this and they had that, but they'll also tell you about how they couldn't sleep at night. They couldn't sleep at night because of what they saw. Because they saw mothers strung out on drugs while their little babies were sitting on the side saying, mommy, 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 mommy. And they saw that in their dreams. You know what I'm saying? It was dark when they couldn't sleep at night because they was wondering when the police was going to kick the door, when their man was going to snitch on them. You understand? You got called out of the darkness of the strip club where men look at you and throw money at you because of your body, but could care less about your actual first name. They call you simp or something like that. Don't even know who you are. You know what I'm saying? You literally are just flesh to them. You know what I'm saying? And you made your whole life about money. That's darkness. And he called you out of darkness. Read on.
Into his marvelous light.
He called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. That's the end of that verse.
Come.
Come. He called you out of darkness. So that's why you have a duty to him. He didn't call you out of darkness so you can continue to be in the dark. He didn't call you out of darkness so you can continue in sin. Like Paul said, you know what I'm saying? Shall we continue in sin? No, hell no. He called you out of the darkness into the light so that way you can be representative of him. So you can, what the scripture says, show forth the praises of him that called you out. That's what we're doing here. We show the world what it looks like when you actually love the Most High. We show the world what it looks like when you actually strive for perfection, when you don't make excuses. You know how many goddamn excuses you could come up with to not go to camp? You understand? Some of these brothers going to camp, man, you know what I mean, got to drive hours and hours, and it ain't just North Carolina. The brothers down in Florida, I believe, do too. Brothers all across the country got to drive to camp, got to drive 3 and 4 hours to get to camp. You know what I'm saying? Some brothers they may not have a van. They got to pack stuff in the back of their car. You know what I'm saying? And forget about when Hebrew Academy is on. Ooh, you in class all week, at camp on Saturday, at Hebrew Academy, 8 a.m. sharp, Sunday. You understand? Like, that's called sacrificing yourself. That's the service. Give me Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. Amos 3 and 1. This is our duty, and when we don't do it, we fail. Failing, as an Israelite, failure is a little different. You understand? When you fail to follow through with the Most High's orders, brother, you die. You understand? You suffer tremendously. We're an entire nation of people suffering because we didn't want to goddamn listen. You understand? Let me know you got that out.
I got it.
Go ahead and read that, brother.
The book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Again, he's telling you who he's talking to. He ain't talking to everybody. You know what I'm saying? We can go to Psalms where it says, you know what I'm saying? I'm paraphrasing. Only the law was only given to us. You know what I'm saying? But he said, hear the word that I've spoken to you, O children of Israel. Read on.
Against the whole family.
Against the whole family. Read on.
Which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying.
Against the whole family I brought out of Egypt, because I'm the power that allowed you to get out of there. You know?
You only have known of all the families of the earth.
Isn't that so to wow? You only have I known of all the families of the earth. There's so many families. There's Moab, Ammon, Amalek, Elam. You know what I'm saying? You got Japheth. You know what I'm saying? You got all them Hamites, Cush, the Ethiopians. You know what I'm saying? You got Canaan. There's so many families on the earth, man. But he said, you only have I known of all the families. I don't even know them niggas. That's what he's saying. Like, no, like you know them. You like, I don't know them. I don't know them like that. Like, he's the father of us all, right? He created us all. He's the creator. But when it says known, he's talking about a personal relationship. He's saying, I know you. Like me and you, we that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know Yahweh. I know Yahweh. I know Mahayah. I know Iraq. You know what I'm saying? Those are my brothers, and they know me. You know what I'm saying? Some cat for some vacancy like you, I don't know that name. I might have heard his name before. I might know his face, and I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? So read on.
Therefore, I will punish you.
Ooh-wee. So, because he knows us, because you thought it was going to end there, right? Oh, he knows us of all families. Oh, yeah, you know he is. He knows us of all families. So read that part again, the last part.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquity.
Therefore, because I know you, oh, you like that I know you, right? You like to be cool. We tight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you my man, though. But because I know you, if you mess up, you're going to feel the wrath. I will punish you for all your iniquities because I know you. Sounds like what again? Sounds like a father. Sounds like I don't give a damn. Why you just cut the class? It wasn't me, just me. It was me. It was Daquan. It was Jamel. It was Saquon. Is Saquon my son? Does Daquan live here? No. You're Daquan, right? You're my son. I don't give a good goddamn about what they do. What's the old phrase? If your friends, what is it? If your friends jump off a bridge, you're gonna jump off too. He don't give a damn. I don't really care about what they do or don't do. It has nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Their parents gonna deal with them. You my son. You're my daughter. And I don't tolerate that. That's what the Most High is saying. Read that last part again.
I will punish you for all your iniquities.
I will punish you for all your iniquities, right? Drop that. Okay, let's see. Give me 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 10. Stop with the excuses, man. Stop with the excuses, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, black woman, Hispanic woman, Native Indian woman. Stop making excuses. Stop talking about, oh, well, we not like Christ. Christ told you to be perfect. He said, be perfect like God. Job was perfect. Abraham was perfect. You understand? Stop lying to yourself. Stop saying you can't do it. Oh, you can't follow all the law. That's a goddamn lie. Again, because Job did it. Abraham did it. Christ did it. You understand? It's doable. That's why Christ says, matter of fact, let me get that real fast. If I can find it. Hold what you got. What did I just say, 1 Peter? Hold
Peter 2 and 10.
Hold that. So lock you. Bear with me. I'm not even gonna really. You know what? No, I'm gonna read it. You hold what you got. I'm gonna read this. It's not. This is not a. I'm not breaking down that Christ was born through sex, but this scripture does prove that. But right now, I'm talking specifically about what it's talking about why he had to be born that way. The book of Hebrews, chapter 2 and verse 16. For verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham. So what does that mean? It means he was born of seed. His parents had sex, right? Because man provides the seed. Mary does not have seed because she is a woman. Yes, there is a scripture where it refers to a woman's seed, but that's talking about a child that's already born. You understand? It's the seed that came from was born already. But as far as being born of seed, a man has seed. The word seed here, I believe in Greek, is literally the word sperm. It means sperm. Okay? So he was born of the seed of Abraham. Salakia. Wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren. He was made like everybody else, like every other man. So that's a goddamn excuse. Like, oh, well, Christ is no. It's telling you that's a lie. It's your Christian pastor don't read this because he wants you to feel good about doing whatever you want to do. So that way at the end of the week, you just give up the cash. You just give it right up because you spent the whole week sinning and now you want to atone for your sins. So you start throwing raps at him like you in a strip club. Because all week you were sinning and now you feel bad. So let me give a little cash. You know what I'm saying? You too up. That's why, right? It's telling you the exact opposite of what your Christian pastor tells you. Wherefore, in all things, it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make reconciliation for the sins of the people. He had to be born that way so he could actually be merciful, so he could understand you. It's going to prove in the next scripture. Verse 18, for in that he himself hath suffered being tempted, he is able to succor them that are tempted. Let's look at that word. It might be pronounced coward, but I'm not too sure. Succor, assistance and support in times of hardship and distress, right? So it says, you understand, that he was tempted himself. So the fact that he was tempted, he is able to aid those who are tempted. He's able to show you can do it too. That's why he was born that way. He's a regular man. His parents, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? They got it in. And that's just what it is. Just like your parents got it in. You know what I'm saying? Barakatah Yahweh Shah for parents getting together and getting it in, because that's how we all got here. Some of y'all weirdos, y'all afraid of that. Like, oh, like the fact that he was born of sex somehow makes him less or something garbage like that. I don't know what you're talking about. Sex is a holy thing. It is absolutely holy. It is wonderful and beautiful And it is fantastic, and it's a good thing that it exists because it's how we all got here, you know what I'm saying? And that's how Christ got here. So if you talk down on sex, then you don't understand the Bible, and you're just strange and weird and probably homosexual. So like, now, what was you holding, brother?
We're holding 1 Peter 2:10.
Right, so yeah, so I was just reading real quick, you know what I'm saying? The fact that Christ, man, he didn't come here to give you excuses. He didn't come here so it'd be easier for you to say why you can't eat pork. I mean, why you have to eat pork. That's a goddamn lie. The Most High told you not to eat it. Christ came to show you how to not eat it, how to be strong enough not to ever even think about wanting a piece of pork, anything. You understand? Read what you got.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 10, which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of the Most High,
Right.
which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy.
So like, hold on. Oh yeah, no. Go on to verse 11.
Verse 11, dearly beloved, I beseech you, as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lust.
What does it mean to abstain from something? Yeah, no.
Not to commit the act.
Not to commit the act. To abstain from something means not to do it. Straight up. So read verse 11 from the top.
Dearly beloved.
This is what you have to do. You can't just make excuses and say, well, I can't put it down. I gotta eat the pork. I grew up, man. How many people I grew up eating pork chops? I grew up, you know what I'm saying, eating whatever filth pigs feed. Ugh. Give me some more. What else we got? What else disgusting? Ham hocks. What's the one?
Neck bone.
Neck bones, and chitlins, and you know what I mean? My grandfather used to tell me, thank God I never seen it happen. He used to tell me he ate rabbit.
I know a lot of
To catch him with skin and stuff.
they say rabbit is the devil's.
Well, again, Salakia, I had never seen a rabbit until I moved down here. The sister's laughing. Please tell her I'm telling the truth. Like, I never saw a live rabbit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying there are none in New York. I'm just saying I myself never also squirrels. You know what I'm saying? I never saw a rabbit bouncing around until I moved down here, and in my backyard, I seen like a rabbit hopping. I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, snap. Like, it's an actual rabbit. It's the same way I was when I first saw a deer, all that stuff, or a possum, and just disgusting, all kinds of strange creatures out here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's not an excuse for you to make. Read verse 11.
Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims,
read on.
Abstain from fleshly lust.
Eating pork.
Fleshly lust.
Having sex with another brother's wife.
Fleshly lust.
Sleeping with another man who's not your husband.
Fleshly lust.
Abstain from fleshly lust. Like the brother just said, it means not to commit the act. Don't goddamn do it. This is the New Testament, right?
Come along.
It says abstain from fleshly lust, read on.
Which war against the soul.
They war, sleeping with another brother's wife. The temptation to sleep with another brother's wife is war against your soul. The temptation to pick up that pork chop is war against your soul. The temptation to go, think about how many sisters, man. It's all war, right? You got a sister who is struggling. Maybe the job ain't paying what she wants. You know what I'm saying? And she thinking to herself, I really could just go be a stripper and make all kinds of cash. I just heard a story, I think Captain McCall brought it out, about, I don't remember the whole service, but some sister talked about she went down to Freaknik back in the 90s, and she was 15 years old. They had no money. She got up on the hood of a car, started twerking, and had $800 within the course of an hour or so. Just made it like that. I don't know. That's a temptation. Selling drugs is a temptation. You know what I'm saying? I hate to quote this guy because I know how we feel about him. He's a coon. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to quote Jay-Z, where Jay-Z said one time, You know what I'm saying? Like the drugs was talking to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is your ticket out the ghetto. Take flight. Right here. Sell me, you go bye-bye here. Like you'll be out of here. Sell me and you all good. The temptation is there for you to, man, if I just push that pack, like I can do this, I can do that. Man, if I just, okay, maybe I'll just dance for like a month. You know what I'm saying? I won't do nothing else. I'll just dance for a month and I'll make the money and then I'll just go. Or I'll do, what's gonna happen is you're gonna start to fall down a hole. That's why it says war with your soul. Because it's gonna war with your soul because after you do it for a month, you say, well, one more month. Well, then 6 months. Well, then, you know, or some guy said, well, maybe I should come to his photo shoot. Next thing you know, the photo shoot, next thing you know, you're doing full-blown pornography. You understand? Because you wanted money so fast or so bad. It wars with your soul when you don't abstain from fleshly lust. Money, in that instance, is the fleshly lust. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about sex. It could be money. It could be some kind of food. It can be, you know what I'm saying, anything. You know what I mean? It could be some material object. It could be some man that you don't need to be with. A sister, you don't need to be with that man. It could be a fleshly lust. You know what I'm saying? Or a brother. That sister, even if she ain't somebody else's wife, maybe she's not for you. Like, slow down. You know what I'm saying? Slow down. Maybe she's not for you. Your fleshly lust might be kicking in. You know what I mean? That's the end of that.
Yeah, that's it.
Come on, no sweat. Drop that. So let's see how we can go ahead and start working on being perfect, man. Give me Psalms 18 and verse 32. This goes back to when we talk about fearing God, man. Fearing the Most High. It's all in this one. It's all the same. That's why I took you to wild when you said earlier, if you love God, keep His commandments, right? That is absolutely correct. You know what I'm saying? That's 100% true. Loving God is fearing God. Ooh-wee. Just like loving your husband is fearing your husband. Not the kind of fear of, again, not like you're scared he's gonna harm you. It's like a respectful fear. You know what I'm saying? It's the fear. I was talking to a brother about this earlier. It's the fear that I have, or that brothers in here have, of Commander Jimmy Hunt. It's the fear that we have of General Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? We have a healthy fear of him. Not like, oh, I think he's going to come in and just punch me in the chest. You know what I'm saying? That's not what the fear I'm talking about. It's the fear of a father. I don't ever, never, ever want to disappoint that man. I don't ever want to disappoint Commander Jimmy Hunt, or any of the generals, or any of the captains, or any of the officers that are above me. I don't want to disappoint them. So I'll do everything in my power to make sure that I don't. You understand? That's the kind of fear that I'm talking about. That's loving the Most High. That's how you love your brother as well. That's how you love your children. That's how you love your mother. That's how you love your husband. I'm saying any authority that's over you, you give that respectful fear. You know what I'm saying? That dedication to not disappointing them. You understand? So let me know when you got what you got, brother.
Got it.
Go ahead and read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 18, verse 32.
So let me just get there with you real fast. Psalms 18, 32. Come ahead and read it.
It is God that girdeth man, Salakia, that girdeth me with strength.
It is the Most High that girdeth me with strength. Read from the top.
It is God.
No, it's me.
It is God.
No, it's my job.
It is God.
No, it's my mom.
It is God.
It's the Christian church.
It is God.
It is God, read on.
That girdeth me with strength.
That girdeth me with what?
Strength.
No, just weakness.
Strength.
I don't gotta be strong. I just gotta be comfortable.
Strength.
He girdeth me with strength. Read on.
And maketh my way perfect.
It's God that girds me with strength and makes my way perfect. I have no time for weakness. None. It has no place in this school. My brother, Officer 500 Yaraman, broke it down wonderfully yesterday. You do not have an option to be a coward in here. Like the brother said, if you end up butt naked on World Star because some brothers done surrounded you and stripped you, brother, ooh-wee. Brother, there's councils on councils on councils happening. You know what I'm saying? I am going to protest that I never have. I'm going to slap and be like, sir, can I stand? If I got to go to classroom, can I stand down? Can I just go home or something? Can I teach class somewhere else? Because I don't want to be around that brother that got bucket naked, you know what I'm saying, in the face of adversity. You know what I mean? You can't do that. You can't be a coward. Read that again. And this is how, by coming in here and learning how to and learn how to be a man, this is what this is talking about. Read that, brother.
The book of Psalms, chapter 18, verse 32. It is God that girdeth me with strength.
Girdeth me with strength. That's why I can get to camp every goddamn Saturday. That's why I can do, and I ain't nothing. Don't get it twisted. I'm saying I'm a lowly 50. I'm not special. I'm not the most intelligent man in the world. I don't have a PhD. So lucky. And the degrees that I do have mean absolutely nothing, because there are brothers in here who don't have a high school diploma, who can break down scripts, who can teach the history class and teach the Lashawan Kodash better than I ever could. And I'm trying to be like them. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be like them. However, the little bit of strength that I do have and then I'm building up, it comes from the men above me who taught me that being strong is a requirement. I cannot be weak. I cannot make excuses. That's why our motto is in here what? No cowards. No excuses. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. I can't live my life like that. You know what I mean? I can't come up with some reason. I mean, if I have a valid reason, if I gotta, you know what I'm saying? If I gotta go to the doctor or something, you know what I mean? There's valid reasons why you can't do certain things. Of course. We're not saying that. But what I'm saying is that we don't make habits of excusing ourselves from things for our comfort. You know what I'm saying? That is weak and feminine. You understand? And if as a man of God, you cannot let that get you. And it's coming. That temptation is coming. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can never drop your sword. You always got to be on guard. Same thing with the sisters. Yeah, you're not a man, right? So your duty is a little bit different, but you better believe it takes some strength to be a sister in here, because your whole family's going to tell you you're stupid. They're going to tell you that you're stupid for being with that man who has another woman. Or even if he doesn't have another woman, they're going to tell you that you're crazy because you're with that man in that goddamn cult. They're going to tell you that you are absolutely insane because now you don't celebrate Christmas. And every time you see a Christmas light or you hear that disgusting song or whatever, you turn up your face like, oh, we have to listen to this, or oh, this is disgusting. They're like, what's wrong with you? Like, to them in this society, like, you're sick because you don't have their sickness. They don't see it as a sickness, right? But you're sick because you don't have it. Whatever they're doing is the right way, in which if you're doing anything opposite, something's wrong with you. Whoever seen Twilight Zone? Whoever remember that, one of the most famous? I didn't watch it on my pops, I'm big on Twilight Zone, right? But there's a famous episode, Beauty is in the Eye of the Beholder. Ever seen that one?
I believe so.
That's the one.
When they was all
Right.
They were supposed to inherit something and they were deformed.
Right. I believe the whole episode is like this woman who's like in like a hospital bed, whatever, with her face all wrapped up.
Okay, yeah.
And they're like, all these doctors have terrible thing we've seen. We don't understand what's going on. We've had to do this. We don't know what to do. And this whole thing is like, what's going on? You're trying to figure it out, right? And by the end of it, you expect when they remove the bandages, she's gonna be all jacked up. And when they remove the bandages, she's mad regular. She's normal. She's like, okay. But then and they got like their faces are distorted. They're hideous. They got like pig noses and they're all turned up. And they're looking at her like something's wrong with her, right? That's what's going on out here. That's what you go through in here. You know what I'm saying? I'm up on a podium, and I say me, but I mean all me and my brothers. We're up on a podium trying to help Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, trying to teach them they're the greatest people on the face of the earth. They were chosen by the Most High, that they are special people, that they can be perfect and royal and priestly, that according to the Bible, the people who rob them, who rape them, are the devil that the Bible speaks of, that one day they're going to get retribution, and that they're going to be on top and take their rightful, place in this world. And you do know that they spit on us and come to us and scream at us and say we're racist. And they find the nearest Caucasian and hold hands with them and pull them close and hug them You understand? And say, this is real brotherhood. While I'm standing on a podium where a sniper could put 2 in my head for you. I already know the truth. I'm in here. I'm saying I'm good. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like we're good in here, but no, for you, we'll do it every week. We'll hold the food drives for you. You know what I'm saying? We'll hold the clothing drive. You know what I'm saying? We'll build the barracks so you can have a place to live, a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? We'll have the classes so you can learn how to speak your language, so you can learn your history, so you can learn about brotherhood, so you can learn about the law. We'll do it for you, and you'll hate us in the process. You understand? So that's what what we go through. Your family, while you're trying to teach them the greatness that they have, they'll deny that greatness so they can do what the other scripture says. So they can go after their fleshly lust. Okay? So we was at Psalm 18:32.
All right.
Read that one time.
It is God that girdeth me with strength and maketh my way.
This is how you
perfect.
become perfect, man. He maketh your way perfect by teaching you how to be strong and not weak in the face of adversity. So what your cousin went on Facebook and told everybody that you are with a man who has another woman? So what? Don't be weak. I'm just telling you straight up. So what? And if you were a brother, so what? You know what I'm saying? Your auntie and everybody is on there talking about how you in a cult. You know what I mean? And now they don't want to be around you, and you don't know what you're talking about. And you used to be such a nice boy. You was a nice boy when you smoked weed every day. You was a nice boy when you was committing crimes and selling drugs every day. That's when you was a nice boy. You could still go to church. You can still be around with Nick. But now that you put on a Mitri, you know what I'm saying? Now that you went through Hebrew Academy, you know what I'm saying? Now that you became a trooper in the school, now that you're a sister in school, you done got your name changed, or you're about to get your name changed, now they can't stand you. You don't eat, like, when you smoke cigarettes, that was fine. Now you stop smoking cigarettes and stop eating pork, and that's just too much for you. No sweat. You got to be strong to get through that. Give me Psalm chapter 19 and verse 7. All right, so it's right up from where we just were.
The book of Psalm, chapter 19,
Right.
verse 7.
So we learned earlier that loving the Most High, right? So the love of God is keeping the commandments. I told you it was all connected. So we read in 1 John, it says, if you love me, keep my commandments. Then we read the scripture in Romans where it proves that fearing the Most High is keeping the law. What it say? Let's see the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, right? They're one and the same. Now let's see what perfection is. Read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 19, verse 7.
Just in case when you tell a Christian, when you prove to a Christian that Christ said be perfect, the Most High told Abraham to be perfect, that Job was perfect, you know what I'm saying? And that the Lord girds you with strength and makes you perfect. Let's see a scripture that tells you exactly what perfection is. Go ahead and read that out.
The law of the Lord is perfect.
The what?
The law of the Lord is perfect.
The law of the Lord is perfect. Read on.
Converting the soul.
Oh, it's perfect and it does what?
Converting the soul.
Oh, I thought getting dipped in water converts the soul.
Converting the soul.
So the law of the Lord is perfect and it converts your soul. It converts you to perfection. You understand? Read on.
The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple.
Right. So the law of the Lord is perfect, man. That's how you become perfect. You keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Because when you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, it will convert your soul. Because again, like we've been saying all night, in the world, you didn't give a damn on nobody else. You'll sell drugs for the money. But now your soul is converted. And you care a little bit too much about your people to sell drugs to them. You care a little bit too much about your sisters to molest them. You care a little too much about your sisters, you know what I'm saying, to seduce them and sleep with them and throw them away. You care too much about your brothers to always want to fight them. You understand? It converts your soul. Drop that. Give me 1 Samuel 11 and 4. I think this might have even been one I wanted before, perhaps. Let's see.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 11, verse 4.
Actually, Salakia. Salakia, 1 second. Nah, actually drop that. No, I'll save that for another one. Give me Psalms 111 and 10.
The book of Psalms, chapter 111, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Right, we read that before. Read it again from the top.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You gotta have discipline. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I brought it to the mind. Like, you gotta have the discipline to not want to disappoint the Most High, to be on your A game. You understand? Read on.
A good understanding have all they that do his
A
commandments.
good understanding have all they that do his commandments. Not just hear it, not just know it, but to do his commandments. Right? So again, so I asked you earlier, so now you can put this in your precept book as another scripture, right? As a second scripture that shows you that the fear of the Lord is keeping the commandments, right? Because the first one was in Salakia. Was it Psalms? No, it was Romans.
Romans 10, no.
No, so I'm bugging. It's Ecclesiastes 12. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Fear God and keep his commandments, right?
And then when it was in Genesis 17.
I don't know if that's the one that people are fear the most high. I was saying because I knew there was that's being perfect. Right, that's true. But I knew there was two scriptures that equate the commandments. I know there's more, but I was looking for two scriptures that equate like fearing God is keeping the commandments. This right here is the second one. Read it from top.
The book of Psalms, chapter 111, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And then there's a colon that tells you it's going to break itself down even more. Read on.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
Right. So wisdom, a good understanding. You see the connection? The first part said the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It's the beginning of understanding. The next part says a good understanding have them which do his commandments. Right. So doing his commandments is fearing the Most High. You understand? Finish it up.
His praise endureth forever.
Right. Drop that. Give me Exodus 15 and 3, man. It's about discipline. A good understanding have those that keep his commandments, that do his commandments. You have to discipline yourself to fight against adversity. You know what I'm saying? To fight against that thing that tells you got to have the discipline to fight against the spirit of Christmas, like I said in the Monday class, right? That's a strong spirit. It's, you know what I mean? Before I came in this school, brother, I was just a Christmas nigga, Salakia. Like the last Christmas I celebrated, it's almost like no one else cared, and I didn't. Like I was wrapping all the gifts, everybody else was just asleep. You know what I'm saying? Like I was so, you know what I'm saying, nostalgic and feminine, and wanted, you know what I'm saying, to remember like my childhood so much. I wanted my little brother just to jump for joy in the morning, which didn't happen, by the way. But nonetheless, that's what kind of brother I was, because I was in the world and effeminate, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't in here learning this. Read what you got. I wasn't learning about discipline. I wasn't learning that the fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. You know what I mean? I wasn't learning how to apply that, especially being a fake Israelite, okay? Read on.
The book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord is a man of war.
The Lord is a what?
A man of
war.
war.
He's a man, right? So the Lord is a man. We already established that, right? The Lord is a man,
of war.
He's a man of war. War. Never forget that. Because life is war. Everything is war. You know what I'm saying? Getting to the class is war. Bending down and tying your shoes is war. Getting out of bed in the morning is war. You know what I'm saying? Brushing your teeth is war. Not being so lazy that you don't want to do nothing is war. You know what I'm saying? When you got to go, you might have to go to Walmart and cash that check. I know that's war for me. I hate Walmart so much. I hate Walmart. Like, I just hate it. That's my rib. Like, if I feel sorry for her because if she with me, she going in there. I'm not going in there. I'm sending her in there to go do whatever got to be done because I hate Walmart. The lines are long and it's crowded and just disgusting, right? Sometimes you gotta go. I mean, you gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? That's life is war. Every waking moment is about whether or not you're gonna, you know what I'm saying, be strong enough to fight against it and be better, or you just gonna cower. Like going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? You go to the gym to do what? To rip your muscles in so they can heal, and they heal, and they get bigger. You know what I mean? You gotta, they say no pain, no gain. That is definitely war. You have to war against your body for it to get stronger. You understand? Same thing with, you got to war against your soul for it to get stronger. You got to war against your mind for it to get stronger. Read that one more time.
The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name.
Right. Perfection is about not giving in. Perfection is about being strong enough. I'm saying, or making sure that you're strong enough to fight through. That's what perfection, where perfection comes from. You understand? Let me see. Do I want to get one more? Nah, I got. Let me see. Salakia. This is gonna be the last. If I get this one, this will be the last scripture. I just want to see if I even want to bother with this one. Salakia. God, matter of fact, let's just close that with that one. Why not? Give me Philippians 4:13. You'll see what it is when you see it. This scripture is 100% totally true. It's totally true. Except your Christian pastor didn't read the other 15 verses that we read earlier in this class. He didn't read those scriptures to understand what this is saying. Or better, he doesn't want to understand what this is saying because he wants to, you know what I'm saying? He wants to get out.
Which one is it again?
Philippians 4:13. He wants to prey on your ignorance and he wants to prey on your comfort.
I got it.
You know what I'm saying? That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want you to be strong. He doesn't want you to be perfect. Because if you were perfect, you'd be up out of his Christian church. You notice, you know what? They eating pork chops every single Sunday. You notice that they're eating unlawful foods every single week. You'll notice that in this church, brothers are sleeping with other brothers' wives. The pastor's sleeping with everybody's wife. You understand? And you'll get the hell up out of there. That's what you'll do. Because you'll recognize that this is not, I'm saying, perfection is not being maintained here. So you'll know that that's not a place of the Lord. In order for your Christian pastor to make you believe the illusion that it is the house of God and that the Lord dwells there, he can't let you read scriptures and understand what they really mean. So go ahead and read that, brother.
The book of First Philippians, right?
There's only one Philippians.
Right. Oh, okay.
Next one.
Chapter 4, verse 13.
It's so important to understand that with your Christian pastor, whenever he pulls this scripture up, there's nothing wrong with the scripture. There's something wrong with him. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. But we went through all the scriptures today. Christ told you to be perfect. He told you to be like the Most High. Job perfect. Abraham perfect. He said, gird yourself with strength, man, and be perfect. The law is perfect, and it converts the soul. So now let's see what this scripture means. Read that.
Verse 13. I can do all things.
No, I can't stop eating pork.
I can do all things.
I can't stop sleeping with that sister.
I can do all things.
I can't stop being a stripper.
I can do all things.
I can do all things, read on.
Through Christ, which strengtheneth me.
I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. Why is that?
Because if you obey the law, statutes, and commandments, and you obtain the spirit that gives you the strength to do what is necessary to stay within the law.
Come on. But I put it like this. Christ taught us how to keep the law perfectly. Like, you could be perfect before Christ. You can keep the law and everything. Christ came and made it very plain. He taught us how to never even think about murdering a brother. In the Old Testament, we thought about murdering brothers, but he's like, God damn it, I'm gonna get stoned or whatever. I'll just leave it alone. Christ taught us not that. Christ taught us, don't even be angry with your brother. Love him. Be kindly affectionate one to another. Sacrifice for each other. Care more about him than you care about yourself. And you'll never want to murder him. Care about him more than you care about yourself, and you'll never want to sleep with his woman. Care about that sister more than you care jealous. You understand? That's what Christ taught. He gave us the blueprint on how to basically make keeping the law almost easy. Read that one more time.
Verse 13, I can do all things.
So because of what he taught us, I can do anything. I can follow the law perfectly. I can move mountains, man. I can get a brother off of drugs. I can get a sister off of the pole. You know what I'm saying? I can get a sister who went through all kinds of things in the world, who've been molested, who've been mistreated. I can get her to come in here and become a princess and forget all and learn how to defeat her demons and be a wife like she never thought she would be.
Through Christ, which strengtheneth me.
Because Christ gave me the strength. He gave me the understanding that I needed so I wouldn't be effeminate anymore. So I can come up in here and be a brother to all my brothers and sisters. And this school is built on that idea. We are strengthened by Christ. Brotherhood is a weapon. You understand? That's what that motto means. Brother taught us how to be brotherly one to another. You understand? So clap it up. We're going to close it out. We're going to clip it up right there. You know what I'm saying? And we'll be back. Next time y'all see us, actually, will be on Friday. You know what I'm saying? For the Feast of Hanukkah. You know what I'm saying? We'll be going live. General Muhammad will be down here.